A vlogger named Asha is sharing her experience of winning the Olympic marathon on her YouTube channel. Asha admitted that she got a lot of pressure just to get a winning trophy. To overcome this stress, Asha always listens to ASMR's soothing voice. With a big smile, Asha invites her fans to practice her advice at home. Not only ASMR videos of cars running over objects did not escape Asha's attention. That afternoon, Asha again checked the YouTube channel, which was still empty of fans. Meanwhile, Leah's mother and Amir's father are busy preparing for the saxophone performance of Asha's sister, Cameron. Before leaving, Amir asks Asha to leave her cell phone at home. Asha's parents are known to be very strict and follow strict rules at home, especially regarding the use of cell phones and the internet. Amir and Leah are very worried about their children who are still growing into their teens. Amir and Leah also leave their cell phones at home as an example so that children don't become addicted to cell phones. In the saxophone performance at school, Amir looks proud of his youngest son Cameron, who is getting more and more stunning every day. Leah also motivates Asha to return to practicing marathon running so that she can continue her marathon athlete achievements. Asha, who is growing up, invites her classmate, Emily Littman, to get out of the stage room. Arriving at the exit, Emily immediately pointed at Asha with a myriad of questions, because her WhatsApp message to Asha was never answered. Emily even asked why Asha was angry with her for not replying to messages. Asha confided in Emily that her parents blamed her cell phone just because Asha left the running team. Asha regretted her parents overreacting to her, as if Asha had made a big mistake and joined the cult. Asha's father confiscated his children's cell phones so they wouldn't be addicted to social media. Meanwhile, in the performance hall, Amir gets bad news regarding juvenile delinquency. Emily's father, Mr. Littman, said that the prevalence of juvenile delinquency was caused by the use of cell phones and the internet. Many of the teenagers who hurt themselves even dared to hurt their mother with a knife. Hearing this, Amir became even more worried and looked for Asha's whereabouts. Outside the school building, Asha borrows Emily's cell phone to check her YouTube channel, which has grown by 1 viewer. At that time, Asha got a new comment from a woman named Cassidy Johnston who said "wow" in the video. Emily suddenly said that the word "wow" could be a mockery and insult. Emily said that Cassidy is a bad girl and often insults. Without realizing it, Emily's words penetrated deeply into Asha's mind to affect every decision that would be taken later. Amir approached his son, who was with Emily. Asha explained to her father about the increase in traffic on her YouTube channel thanks to Emily's help. Unfortunately, Amir didn't think it was a good thing. He said that Asha should use the best time of her life to do many more useful things. The difference between the two views regarding social media between parents and children makes the problem even more complicated. Asha feels that she does not get support from her parents because Asha is starting a YouTube channel. Meanwhile, Amir, Asha's father, saw the extraordinary potential of his son, who had won the marathon running Olympics. Amir said that Asha wasted too much golden time all this time. Those words made Asha even more hurt. However, the teenager couldn't process the pain in his heart quickly. Asha just looked down, not knowing what else to explain to her old-fashioned father. Arriving at home, Mrs. Leah seemed to check the contents of the video on Asha's TikTok account. As a happy teenager, Asha wants to express all her feelings through social media. In addition to the content of dancing, Asha also vented about her parents' concerns about her, which made Asha uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Amir reads the news from his cell phone, which says that social media is a trigger for stress and juvenile delinquency. Cameron is playing games, while Asha is in the room with her laptop. Amir's family turned out to be staring at the screen for hours without greeting each other, even though they were both in the house. That night Asha looked for Cassidy Johnston's Instagram account, which seemed to be private. Simultaneously, Amir and Leah received a message from someone who sent a picture of a terrible monster named Grimcutty. They ask Asha and Cameron to gather for a while and sit together at the dining table. Amir shows the Grimcutty meme images to their children and asks if Asha or Cameron have seen it. Amir's two children admitted that they had never seen the meme and did not know what it was. Amir explained that the Grimcutty meme image was a kind of challenge that was spread on social media to terrorize teenagers. The challenge from Grimcutty contains threats that the victim, who is actually a teenager, does crazy acts, such as injuring himself, strangling himself and even committing suicide. Amir said that some of the children in their area had already become victims of Grimcutty's challenge. They hurt themselves after claiming to see a monster like in the meme. Amir and Leah looked very worried and begged their children to stay safe. Asha again underestimated her parents' worries. He smirked and said that he wouldn't be able to do such a stupid thing. That night before going to bed, as usual, Asha scrolled through social media and found a lot of people talking about Grimcutty. Not infrequently teenage boys throw challenge videos to see the Grimcutty monster. They were even willing to pay a high price for someone else who could show him the appearance of a Grimcutty monster. Asha gets a message from Emily, which turns out to be Emily's parents saying the same thing about Grimcutty. Amir and Leah, who are in the room, also can't sleep because Grimcutty's scary stories attack them. They even got a message from a close friend who found his son committing suicide in the hallway. In the end, Leah and Amir chose not to sleep that night just to find out about the Grimcutty figure. Seeing the information on the internet made the husband and wife even more frustrated. As Amir and Leah's anxiety grew, a Grimcutty figure now really appeared behind Asha. The teenage girl who was making toast did not hear the appearance of the monster because she was busy listening to ASMR. Until suddenly, for the first time, Asha met the figure in the meme, Grimcutty. The girl screamed loudly for her parents. By the time Amir and Leah descended, the hideous figure had disappeared. Amir immediately called the police to search his house and look for the intruder. Asha mentioned the characteristics of the monster that sneaked into her house. The police actually already know his characteristics and show pictures of Grimcutty memes. Asha confirmed that the monster she saw was exactly like Grimcutty. The police asked to speak to Amir alone. They explained that the teenagers in town are experiencing the same thing as Asha. The police suspect that there is a dangerous act carried out by a hidden group to terrorize the residents and trigger a commotion. From the provisional conclusion, the police explained that teenagers who saw the Grimcutty were challenged to lie and hurt themselves. The police urge parents to keep their children away from cell phones and the internet. In this way, it is expected to stop the trend of Grimcutty challenges that is currently happening. Amir rushes to Asha's room and confiscates his daughter's cell phone and laptop. In the morning, Leah and Amir explain the existence of a detox box in the house. The detox box is a suitcase whose function is to keep away from cell phones and laptops. That said, it's a powerful way to save teenagers from Grimcutty disorders. As a teenager who has held a cell phone since she was a baby, Asha strongly rejects her parents' decision. Amir pulled the cell phone with Asha, until suddenly, Asha screamed in fear when she saw the terrible monster and ran to lock herself in her room. In the evening, Asha meets Cameron in his room. Asha knows that Cameron has hidden a secret laptop under the bed. Asha logged into her Twitter account to find out what was going on. All of his friends' posts asked about the Grimcutty figure and the intended challenge. Amir suddenly disconnects the Wi-Fi connection at his house because he is very parano with the Grimcutty case. Forced, Asha sneaks over to the dining table and prying open the detox box suitcase to retrieve her own cell phone. After getting her cell phone, Asha spoke with her new friend, Cassidy Johnston. Apparently, not only Asha's parents confiscated their children's cell phones and laptops. Almost all parents do. Cassidy said if parents started doing crazy things, namely fascism. Fascism is an understanding based on the principle of leadership with absolute or absolute authority where the leader's orders and obedience apply without exception. Meanwhile, The teenagers felt innocent because they really saw the figure, including Asha. Cassidy contacts Asha to find out what the Grimcutty looks like. Amir and Leah heard their son's voice and immediately checked the whereabouts of Asha's cell phone, which was missing from the detox box. Asha ran to avoid her father and mother while continuing to talk on the phone. Kai joins the call to announce that the Grimcutty's terror is getting more and more dangerous. When Amir and Leah are increasingly worried about Asha, Grimcutty again appears in the garage, trying to attack Asha, who is hiding alone there. The terrible creature chased Asha all the way to the bathroom and managed to injure the girl's hand. Asha took the knife in the sink and stabbed the creature. Amir caught his daughter screaming hysterically in the bathroom carrying a knife with an injured hand. Asha's parents increasingly believe that their child has been affected by Grimcutty's challenges and terror. Leah, who works as a nurse, immediately treated the wound on her child's hand and said she would take Asha to a psychiatrist the next day. Unfortunately, Asha has an appointment with Cassidy and Kai to meet at school tomorrow. Asha was forced to lie to her parents so as not to take her to a psychiatrist. Asha said that the wound on her hand was due to an accident when prying the detox suitcase to retrieve the cell phone. Asha lied, saying she accidentally scratched her own hand hearing Amir and Leah coming. Asha had to hide that she saw Grimcutty so her parents wouldn't forbid her from going to school. The next day, the school seemed deserted because many parents forbade their children to go out of the house. Asha met Cassidy in person in the bathroom while discussing their respective circumstances. It turns out that Cassidy's parents also confiscated her cell phone and laptop. They rushed to the house of Oliver, a teenage boy who lives alone because his parents migrated to Morocco. Oliver is very free in his own house, partying every day and doing whatever he wants. Cassidy and Asha borrow Oliver's laptop to find out the origin of the Grimcutty terror. Hearing the name Grimcutty, Oliver actually invites his friends to make a video pretending to be affected by Grimcutty. The teenagers who were partying showed poses as if they were going to hurt themselves with a knife and said Grimcutty. At the same time, Asha's parents are worried that Asha is not at school. Meanwhile, Asha and Cassidy found a blog belonging to Melinda Janes, who likes to share her happy life with her only son, Brandon. It turned out that after Brandon stabbed Melinda with a knife, the woman wrote an article containing tips and tricks to protect children from the evil influence of cyberspace. Melinda is the one who introduced the term detox box as a place to store her children's cell phones and laptops. Surprisingly, one article about Grimcutty has been deleted a long time ago by Melinda. The woman insisted that the changes in children occurred because of the bad influence of technology. Because it was getting late, Cassidy left Asha there and went home. Cassidy did not want to make her parents worry because the conditions were not conducive. Before Cassidy left, Asha asked about the word "wow" Cassidy said in the video comments column. Cassidy laughed and said that wow meant wow and there was nothing wrong with their friendship. Asha is very easily influenced by the opinions of others, especially Emily, who says that the word wow has a negative connotation. Cassidy asks Asha to be more relaxed with life and not to think strangely about small things. At the same time, Amir and Leah are increasingly frustrated by seeing video footage of teenagers trying to hurt themselves because of Grimcutty. In the video, Leah and Amir find Asha standing in the back corner, terrified. Until nightfall, Asha is still busy in front of the laptop looking for a way to be free from the Grimcutty terror. Feeling stuck, Asha logs into her Skype account and calls Cameron. Asha's sister said that their mother and father had just left the house to look for Asha's whereabouts. The girl ran to peek at the window and saw a Grimcutty monster walking towards her. He asks Cameron for help in locating the house of Melinda Janes, a blogger suspected of spreading the Grimcutty terror. Asha rushes away from Oliver's house to save herself from the attacks of evil creatures. Unfortunately, the creature had managed to enter the house and walked over to Asha. The girl asked her other friends, but no one could see the Grimcutty but herself. Asha ran to the kitchen to get a knife, but the creature caught her. Asha was strangled and her thigh was drawn with a dagger. To counter the monster's attack, Asha took a knife behind her body and stabbed the creature until it ran wild. At the same time, Amir and Leah just arrived there and entered Oliver's house to look for the whereabouts of their son. Asha limped to escape into the hallway of Oliver's house on the second floor. Unfortunately, Asha was caught by the Grimcutty and the creature forced Asha's hand to injure her own arm. Amir disconnects the power cord which stops the party song from playing. Asha's screams were heard until they ran to find her son's whereabouts. When found, Amir and Leah could not see the existence of the Grimcutty figure. All they saw was Asha hurting her own hand while crying hysterically. They rushed to take Asha into the car, and that's when Amir found out Cameron was using the internet to surf the virtual world. Amir and Leah increasingly frustrated him. They speed back home, while the old man's anxiety draws a Grimcutty figure to attack Cameron. Because Amir and Leah were worried about Cameron's condition being left alone in the house, the terrible creature actually appeared to attack Cameron. Sure enough, when they got home, they found Cameron's body lying on the floor unconscious. Amir and Leah took their 2 children to the hospital for intensive care. After waking up, it was morning. Amir and Leah go to find a psychiatrist for their 2 children. Asha opened Cameron's laptop, which turned out to be successful in finding the location of Melinda Jane's house. Asha steals her mother's car keys and sneaks out of the hospital to go to the blogger's house. As she was about to leave, Asha saw Cassidy's family in the hospital. He visited his friend's room to find out what had happened. It turns out that Cassidy was attacked by the creature when her parents started to panic about her own condition. The 2 teenage girls conclude that the Grimcutty monster appears only when their parents are worried about their child's fate. Asha rushed off to find out more about Melinda Janes, the blogger who first spread the Grimcutty terror. As the day wore on, Leah was surprised by Asha's bed, which was empty. Looking at the open camera and laptop, Leah believed that her daughter had gone to that place. Amir suddenly came into the room and shouted at Leah, asking where Asha was. Realizing her husband's explosive emotional state, Leah lied by saying that Asha was in a psychiatrist's room for an examination. Leah immediately ordered a taxi online to go to Melinda's house following Asha. At the same time, Asha arrived at Melinda's house with her mother's car alone. The girl ventured to talk to Melinda and ask about Grimcutty. Instead of getting complete information, Asha was expelled in a subtle way. Melinda dodges that she has not been active in the blogger world for a long time and is no longer responsible for all her content related to detox boxes and Grimcutty. Not accepting the explanation, Asha sneaked into Melinda's house and hid near the trash can. Asha saw the contents of the trash can filled with electronic objects that had been destroyed by the screen. The girl did not give up and looked for a way to get into the house. What Asha did was a crime for breaking into the house without permission. Asha could be sentenced to prison for breaking the law, and what Asha is doing is very inappropriate. After successfully entering through the side door, Asha found a room with Brandon's name on it. The door to the room was secured with countless locks. Asha entered the room but did not find anyone there. The girl actually found the bathroom door locked from the outside with nails and other security tools. When opened, little Brandon was found in a weak and helpless condition and begged Asha to lock him back into the bathroom. From behind, Melinda pointed Asha with a rifle and locked the child in the downstairs room. Not long after, Leah arrived at the house and immediately screamed for her child. Melinda said that Asha had sneaked into the house and locked the girl in the back room. Asha immediately hugged her mother after leaving the room. The girl said that Melinda kept her child on the second floor and threatened her with a rifle. Leah was quite annoyed with Asha's passionate attitude, saying bad things in front of other people. Leah was forced to slap her own child into silence for a moment. They returned to the car where Leah's emotions were running wild. From the rearview mirror, Asha saw a Grimcutty figure walking towards her. Asha begged her mother to calm down because the creature would get stronger with her mother's anger. Leah exploded and shattered her own car window. Surprisingly, after doing so, the Grimcutty figure disappeared. Leah managed to control her own emotions after breaking a car window and injuring her own hand. Leah processes everything that happened to her child and decides to return to Melinda's house. Asha was asked to wait alone in the car while Leah forced her way into Melinda's house. When she found Brandon's body in her room, Leah was shocked to see the child floating in the air. Brandon's hand seemed to want to get rid of the strangulation on his neck. Because Melinda panicked, the Grimcutty figure that attacked Brandon became even crazier. Melinda points a gun at Leah but Asha appears behind her. When Melinda turned to point a gun at Asha, Leah immediately attacked the woman, causing Melinda to fall. The Grimcutty figure disappeared along with the panic in Melinda's heart about her son's condition. Melinda claimed to be the one who spread the Grimcutty photo because her child was always disturbed by the monster. Melinda deliberately kept her own children in the bathroom so they wouldn't continue to be disturbed by Grimcutty. Brandon, who was trying to get up, turned to attack his own mother and stabbed her with a sharp object, causing Melinda's body to fall down the stairs unconscious. Brandon explained that he had been trying not to make his mother panic and worry. Brandon became a very obedient child, even willing to be locked up in the bathroom for years. He did this on purpose so that his mother wouldn't worry and the Grimcutty monster wouldn't terrorize him anymore. Leah immediately took the child to the hospital with the help of Asha. Meanwhile, time continued to pass. In the late afternoon, Amir decided to check Cameron's browsing history on his son's laptop. Seeing Cameron's history of searching for sect vocabulary and others, Amir panicked and made him emotional. Brandon explained that he just wanted to know the meaning of the vocabulary. Behind Amir, a Grimcutty figure appears more and more terrifying, making Cameron scared and curled up under the table. Leah, who had just arrived at the hospital, immediately took Brandon to the emergency room. Meanwhile, Asha meets with Kai, who reports that Cassidy slit her own throat at the hospital. It seems that Cassidy's parents are so worried about their child that a Grimcutty monster appears and attacks Cassidy. Leah rushes into Cameron's room where it turns out that Amir is furious. Leah gives Amir a sedative injection while explaining that the Grimcutty's annoyance stems from the parents' unstoppable emotions. Leah begs Amir to take a sedative injection so that his emotions don't hurt the children more. Unfortunately, the police showed up and took Leah for questioning because they were thought to have kidnapped Brandon from Melinda's house. Brandon runs away from his father, which makes Grimcutty even more vicious. The figure chased Brandon until he met Asha. To save her sister, Asha plans to meet her father and turn Amir's anger on him. When Asha persuades Amir to calm down, Cameron is already attacked by a Grimcutty. Asha shows the knife she was carrying and manages to make Amir's father angry with him. The Grimcutty figure that attacked Cameron also disappeared as Amir's worry disappeared for Cameron. Asha hid in the hospital waste storage room while waiting for the terrible creature to arrive. When the Grimcutty appears and strangles Asha, the girl stabs the monster in the stomach with a barrage of blades. Unfortunately, the monster got back up and attacked Asha. Amir watched as Asha was about to slit her own throat. Out of reflex, Asha slashed her own father's stomach until the Grimcutty figure disappeared from before him. Amir got up again and his anger grew hotter. Asha was strangled by a Grimcutty monster and her body was lifted high. Amir stabbed himself in the knee with the sedative Leah had given him and the figure disappeared. Leah immediately hugged her child and asked for medical help to treat Amir, who was hit by the stab. After the incident, Asha returned to being active on social media to share her own experiences. He is a survivor of the Grimcutty terror who always gives tips for teenagers to have a good relationship with their parents. Asha advised teenagers to understand each other and listen to their parents' advice. Amir received medical treatment and managed to survive the stab. Meanwhile, Cassidy, who slit her own throat, was still critical but managed to regain consciousness. Amir and Leah apologized to Asha until their family is back in harmony. Asha is now making ASMR videos which she thinks can calm the minds of the viewers. And the film ends. Although wrapped in the nuances of horror, this film emphasizes the relationship between parents and teenagers who often experience turbulence. In essence, this film reminds parents to give flexibility and trust their children more. While on the other hand, this film also advises teenagers and children to open up to their parents, be honest and respect each other. The big gap between parents and children is the main trigger for conflict, especially if you are in an environment that is easy to panic. As a technology-savvy society, you should not swallow all the raw information and carry out further investigations regarding the rumors that are currently circulating. Don't make your child a victim of explosive emotions. And as a child, don't worry about your parents. Thank you and goodbye.